A picture-perfect family, 6 beautiful children, a loving husband, and a devoted mother. On the surface, they had it all. Millions watched them every day, admiring their seemingly perfect life. But behind closed doors, something sinister was happening. Something horrifying. Something that no one saw coming. Until it was too late. What if I told you that the woman the world saw as a devoted mother was actually a monster? A woman who built a life around good parenting, only to be exposed as an abuser in the most shocking way possible. This is the dark and twisted story of Ruby Franke, the family vlogger turned convicted child abuser. A tale of power, control, and a disturbing life coach who pushed her deeper into darkness. Stay with me as we unravel the shocking truth behind one of the most disturbing cases in YouTube history. For years, Ruby Franke was one of YouTube's most well-known family vloggers. She and her husband, Kevin, along with their 6 children, built their brand around parenting advice and wholesome family content. Their channel, 8 Passengers, amassed over 2 million subscribers, people who tuned in daily to watch what seemed like a close-knit, loving household. But behind those carefully edited videos, there were cracks in the picture-perfect image, cracks that some viewers started to notice. Ruby's parenting methods were often seen as extreme. She believed in strict discipline, very strict. Some called it tough love, while others saw it as something much darker. Her children were punished in ways that many found alarming, like being denied food, having their personal belongings taken away, or being forced to sleep on the floor for months. And yet, every time viewers expressed concern, Ruby dismissed them, calling them soft or ignorant about real parenting. But as time passed, the cracks became impossible to ignore. And when Ruby met Jody Hildebrandt, things took an even darker turn. Jody Hildebrandt was a so-called life coach who ran a company called Connections, an organization that claimed to help people live honest and truthful lives. But in reality, it was far from what it seemed. Jody had a reputation for tearing families apart, using psychological manipulation to gain control over her clients. She encouraged strict discipline, cutting off loved ones, and complete obedience to her methods. And when Ruby met Jody, it was like gasoline meeting fire. Ruby became obsessed with Connections. She began implementing Jody's extreme teachings in her own household. It wasn't long before her husband, Kevin, and their children started noticing the changes. But by the time they realized what was happening, it was already too late. At first, the children tried to adjust to their mother's new parenting style. But things only got worse. Much worse. Chad, Ruby's oldest son, was one of the first to speak out. He recalled how his mother forced him into therapy with Jody after he displayed what she called rebellious behavior. But this wasn't normal therapy. It was manipulation, control, a complete breakdown of his sense of self. Chad said he learned to put on a happy face during therapy, hoping to convince his mother and Jody that he was fixed so he could escape their grip. But every time he tried, Jody saw through him, breaking him down until he had no choice but to obey. Soon, Jody wasn't just controlling Chad. She was controlling everyone. Even Kevin, Ruby's husband, was forced out of the home after Jody convinced Ruby that he was a threat to the family. For months, neighbors began noticing something wasn't right. The Franke children were rarely seen outside. When they looked thin, fragile. And then, one day, everything changed. On August 30th, 2023, a starving 12-year-old boy escaped from the Franke home. He ran to a neighbor's house, desperate, bruised, and covered in wounds. He told them he had been tied up, starved, and abused. The neighbor immediately called 911. When police arrived, they found another child in similar condition. And what they uncovered inside the home was beyond horrifying. Both Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt were arrested that day, and as more details surfaced, the world watched in shock as the truth unraveled. In court, Ruby wept as she apologized to her children, saying, "I believed dark was light and right was wrong. But for many, her words meant nothing. The damage was done. Finally, after years of suffering, the Franke children were free. They are now on the path to healing, rebuilding their lives away from the shadows of their past. The story of Ruby Franke is more than just a tragic crime. It's a warning about the dangers of family vlogging, online influence, and the power of manipulation. How many other children are suffering behind the camera? How many families are hiding dark secrets under the mask of social media perfection? As viewers, we must ask ourselves, are we consuming entertainment, or are we witnessing something much more sinister? Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime cases. Until next time, stay safe and always question what you see online.